Today in Boost, we are going to be thinking about animals. So I want you to get a little bit messy, think a little bit outside the box. We've certainly got some worms involved, so we love it. Think about those animals today. It's going to be great. Guys, welcome back to Create. It's
Create, Matt.
Create, that's what we're doing, and it's good to see you. And today we've got something really exciting.
It's fantastic, isn't it, Matt?
Can't wait. So today we're going to be making a wormery, okay? And for this,
you need worms.
You need worms. So you do need worms. Now, there's two options here, and we've tried to keep the cost down. You can go scavenging for some worms, but the type of worms that you'll mainly find will be earthworms, and they're okay. The other option is these are tiger worms. So these are great. These are really good for composting, which is what we're going to be making, a composter. So you want to get your hands on them. Now you can find them if you've got a compost bin in your garden or something like that. Have a look in there, have a scavenging around, get in there. Don't be afraid of them. They can't hurt you, they can't bite you. They just feel a little bit weird. That's all. Let's start making our wormery. So first, how we're doing it is we're trying to use things that you don't really have to buy. However, you can be creative.
You could use anything, really, couldn't you?
You can use absolutely anything.
Yeah.
So we're using 3 milk jugs, milk cartons. 3 of them. You can, again, get a different size and make them bigger or smaller. You can even use plastic boxes. Or if you want to be really creative, you can use some wood and make one. Okay, wow. So you need some of that. Get adult supervision, because you will need a device for making a hole. We've got a drill here, but you will need an adult or someone responsible. I've got John supervising me, and then some worms, some compost, and then some kitchen scraps, some food.
Yeah.
Now worms.
Matt, one other thing. If you're using milk jugs, make sure you wash it out really well, because they're vegan, aren't they, worms?
So this is something that's really important. So worms, you need to treat them like the vegan. So when you put the food in, make sure there's no milk.
Be nice to vegans.
Or dairy. Okay. So no milk and dairy because it's just not good and it stinks. And so that's really important. So what we're going to do, John, is you are going to chop the tops off these. Okay.
Whereabouts? Just about there?
Yeah. So we're going to chop the tops off and cut down like this, and then just create like a. We're using half of it basically. Basically, this is going to be the bottom. When the worms eat the food, they poo and they wee, and that kind of substance that we want out of them that is called tea, and we love that stuff because that's so good for the garden. You can put it on the garden, but when you put it on the garden, you must dilute it.
Oh dear.
So let's get that going. So we've got another one there. So that's going to be where your tea's collected in this bottom bit here. What happens is your worms are going to sit in there. We're going to have to make some holes. Okay. So here's where you need some supervision. So John,
you need an adult for this.
I need an adult. There are the holes, and what's going to happen is your worms are going to sit in there like that. Okay, worms are going to sit in this top one here. We don't want it sliding too much. You don't want the worms sitting in all the moisture. So anything really. I found some wooden pegs. It's always good to use wood. It's better for the environment. So I'm just basically going to stick them in there.
You could use stones, couldn't you?
You could use stones, anything. We had some wooden pegs around. Stick that back in there. Okay, now it don't look very pretty, because we're trying to use stuff that we've got lying around.
It doesn't matter.
To make.
What do we need next?
We want some worms.
Worms? Don't we need compost first?
Well, the worms are in compost. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah. So you want to get your worms, and you want it. It's really important to look after your worms, and they like they're okay with a little bit of heat, but not too much.
Oh, look at that big one.
They're okay with a. Oops. There we go. So let's get them all in there. It's amazing. Creation and nature is just such a wonderful thing. Because you can see through it, you want to keep this in a cupboard in the dark, not somewhere in direct sunlight. It's really important that you just keep it out of the direct sunlight. The nature of this, we're going to keep it under a sink, somewhere dark and cool.
Even a shed?
Yeah, even a shed. I mean,
garage?
You could paint it black with a bit of PVA glue. If you mix paint and PVA glue, that would work. But the freezer. So there we go. We've got our worms in there.
Very
nice
good.
And settling in. And what we're going to.
What else do they need, Matt?
So what we need to do now is get some newspaper.
Okay.
Okay. Rip it up into really small pieces. And the idea of this is, and we're also going to wet it down.
Small enough, Matt?
Yeah, nice. So the idea of this
so
is
you can see
nice
the size.
Nice small pieces, so the air's in between them. What you don't want to do is wet a sheet and put it down, because the air is a good thing for the worms. They like that. A little bit wet, not too wet.
What do you do with the newspaper, Matt?
Well, they'll eat it.
They eat it?
Yeah, it'll
fantastic.
It'll be rotted and biodegrade. Remember I said earlier that the worms are vegans, so the type of stuff that they'd like is fruit and vegetable, but chopped up. Okay?
An old radish.
Old radish, could be a cucumber
An
that's
old
gone
bit
off.
of cucumber.
That's it. So we want that.
Some salad.
Yeah. Okay, and also tea. However, we don't want to put the tea bag in, do we?
No, because tea bags. Not many people know this, but tea bags are actually plastic. So you don't want the worms to be plastic. Do you? So what you do is you tear your tea bag open.
Yeah. Get
the tea leaves. The tea leaves are fine. That needs to go in the rubbish.
Right.
Shall I chop it now?
So chop it up fairly fine. Nice. So, and this is all the scraps that we aren't going to use. The tea bag's already been had a tea. The cucumber's off. It's all just what we would normally throw in the bin. It's how great this is that in fact we can get some worms and they'll turn it into something that is really good for the garden, really good for the environment. So there we go. Chop them up nice and fine.
Is that small enough?
Yeah. Bop them in.
Yeah.
Now, one note is it's really important. So, not loads of citrus. So you want to.
What's citrus, Matt?
So like lemons and oranges.
Oh right, yeah.
Okay, so if you've been eating like lots of oranges or lemons, like a slice of lemon in the drink, a little bit's okay, but not too much because they're acidic, basically. And here's your lid, which is the bottom again of a milk jug that's been washed out. Okay, so and we pop that over like that. Oh, first we want some holes in it as well.
We don't want it because if you don't put holes in, they suffocate.
Yeah.
Because they're like humans, they need air. If they haven't got enough air.
Yeah. So make sure you've got an adult helping you with this. Okay.
You did very well, Matt.
I
think squeeze.
I knew that you were close. There we go.
Squeeze
that in. And pop that there like that.
There we are.
And that is a wormery out of a few milk cartons and
a lovely wormery.
Yeah. So leave that under your sink, somewhere dark, somewhere cool, not in direct sunlight. Check on them. And what will happen is in this bottom bit, you'll get this liquid, and that'll just look a bit browny. It's so good for the garden. So if you're growing stuff in your garden,
you've got to dilute it, haven't you, man?
You do have to dilute it.
It's strong.
It's really strong stuff. You have to dilute it. What's recommended is
worm
1 to 10. 1 to 10. So for every 1 part worm tea, you put 10 parts water in.
Worm tea, sorry.
So do dilute it down, but it's great for the garden. And that's our create for today.
Welcome, day 3, challenge 3 of Dan versus Matt.
Matt versus Dan.
Dan versus Matt.
Matt versus Dan.
We are gonna. What we're gonna do, Matt? We've got A4 sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Some sort of origami challenge.
Origami challenge. It's a paper airplane race, isn't it, Dan?
Right.
Challenge is who can get a paper airplane to fly the furthest, and the answer will obviously be me, but you'll just see the process of me winning again.
Whatever.
Yeah. So. What we're going to do is we're going to go off into separate areas, make a paper airplane. Dan's, you're not allowed to use your phone to research this.
Okay.
Dan's going to try really hard.
Allowed to use Michael's phone?
No. Oh. No. And then you've got to make your paper airplane, and then it's going to be best out of 3. So who gets to go the furthest.
Where are we launching them from? Are we
So
going to the bell tower or something?
Balcony.
Oh.
Where we did the teabag challenge from, which I've scrubbed out of my mind. So, so off we go. Let's build our paper airplanes and see how we do.
I think I only know how to make one paper aeroplane, so I think it's just going to have to be that one. We'll see how we get on.
Okay guys, so the key is aerodynamics. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have no idea really what I'm doing. I'm just going to make it up, see what looks nice. Fold it in half. Got to be quiet because I don't want Dan to hear me because he's not very good at this. Fold it in half. Okay. And then I'm going to make a little triangle here.
Like a Blue Peter challenge. Right.
Okay, so I'll do another one here. Okay guys, so here we are at launch mission control, or launch pad, I'm not quite sure what to call it.
At the airport.
Yeah, here we've got, Dan, can you talk us through your design?
I'm a simple lad, so I've gone for a simple design, classic
Right.
sort of shape. Gone for narrow body down here, but wide wingspan, kind of modelled it on the Vulcan bomber.
Okay, mine was fairly similar. White.
Spoilers on there.
These aren't spoilers. These are part of my talk, actually. Some planes are engineered on Eagles as they fly. They lit the end of the wing up. You'll see these little tips on the end. So I'm just making it up, really. I've got no idea what I'm doing. So,
Are you going to count us in,
Michael, can you count us in?
3, 2, 1. Take off.
Yes. 1 minute. Let's start 3. 1 Yes. 1 minute. Best out of 3.
You better be.
1-0. Dan, would you like to say what you've literally just done as you walked up the stairs?
Okay, I got some hand.
Cheated.
I haven't cheated. I just needed to sanitise my hands,
Yeah. And you're playing.
and I just needed to sanitise the nose on the plane, on the front of the plane.
Don't worry. You know, this will...
Just make it COVID friendly, you know.
That's it. You need a COVID-friendly nose.
Right, well, we'll see this.
All right, you ready?
Because I'm not a cheater, I've never cheated. And never
Not
will.
it's not cheating.
No, anything other than A4 paper.
It's using the materials available, Matt.
Well,
You ready?
well, there's a printing press downstairs and, you know, blue tack and everything. Right, okay.
You ready?
No.
3, 2, 1. Take off.
Oh, only just picked, yeah? 4 inches taller than me.
3 or 4 feet, yeah?
Yeah. So you've got a different trajectory than what I have.
Well, you could always just change your trajectory and throw it higher.
I could, but you've got a longer lead. But anyway,
Okay.
it's all right.
You know,
I'm not making any excuses before I lose, by the way.
just make excuses. Don't cry too much. Okay.
You ready?
And 3,
Well, I don't know.
2, 1.
Come on, baby. Yes, I've got that. Tell me I've got that, Abby. Yes! What? No, that one wins. Yes! I thought you said whose is this one? That's beating it.
No.
The winner of Matt versus
Dan
Dan
versus Matt.
is Dan.
It's Dan. Hey!
Today. So guys, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Well, it can be grand being out in the wilds of Ripon, and you're soon out in countryside. Look at this lovely field, and you soon find stuff like this. Look at these blackberries. Och, they're so tasty. But make sure you know they're blackberries. Ask your adult. These might not be. And make sure you can pick the apples. You soon be walking past cornfields like this. Look at that. Or sometimes you might be walking down a lane or even past corn. Look at this. The sweet corn's in there. You find wild flowers like this clover. Look at those 3 leaves. And look at this wee beauty. A bit like a thistle. And you know what this is, don't you? Aye, this one smells like pineapple. Make sure you wear your boots, 'cause you can find lots of mud. Aye, but it's grand and fandabidozy being out in the wilds of Ripon. Look at that. You find wildflowers, beauties. Aye, they're fantastic. And look at this, bindweed, bit of a nuisance. And look at this wee one here, it's like a snowball. Aye, And watch out for stingers. They can be a bit nasty. And don't pick what you don't know. You could be in the woods. Aye. Och, what's that? A sheep in the woods. Och, there they are, in the fields, enjoying the sunshine. Your path might be a bit wild, so don't worry if you're with your parents. And look, make sure you follow the signs. Make sure you close the gates. And when you're walking in the road, make sure you walk on the right-hand side, so the cars can see you, especially important on big roads. And when you cross, make sure it's clear both sides before crossing. Keep looking and listening. Aye, we want you to be safe. Hey, look at this, another cornfield. And there's a path going through. If it's a path, it's amazing. Just think, walking right through a cornfield. And look at that. It's a beauty. And look at this, jungles. Aye, look at these flowers. Why are they made like that? Look carefully. What's inside? Can you see? Aye, it's a bee. And you get all sorts of bees. There's a bumblebee. Aye, and other insects too, like beautiful butterflies like this. Amazing. And other insects. Look at this weird slug. And this caterpillar here. He's a beauty, isn't he? All furry. Aye. Oh. And farm animals too, like coos, ducks, and maybe even chickens. And by the water, you might see swans. But if you're by the water, make sure your parents or your adults tell you where to be and what to do. But if you find some water, a pond like this maybe, you could find a heron. Look at this one eating a fish, or swifts and swallows, or even a red kite. But even if you're just in the garden, look at the beautiful flowers you can find.
Hi, I'm Jonathan.
Hi, I'm Jude.
Archery,
Archery,
going outside,
cycling,
talking to people.
bass guitar.
I am a Christian.
Yes, I am. Had to think about that for a second.
No.
No.
In 2010, on a Friday night after church.
I wouldn't say there was a definitive point, it was more of a long period of time.
Can't say it's changed, it's just over the years I've grown more on Christianity.
I don't say it's an instant change, you know, it's a period of time. Like I said, it's a journey. It's not instant. The whole point is it's a life commitment, it's a lifestyle. I wouldn't say they're instant benefits, but the benefits come and you realise it bit by bit, not all at once.
Never give up on your dreams.
Be very careful when you are melting chocolate in a microwave.
Go for it.
Remember, it's not instant, it is a journey. And I'll say it again. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's a journey. You know, don't expect instant benefits to come. It takes time. And enjoy it, you know. It's a journey, it's a lifestyle, it's a progression. Enjoy the ride.
And people might not like you for what you say and what you do, but
It's
stick
resilience.
at it.
Stick with it, you know. Yeah.
Have you ever heard a woodpecker pecking at wood? Peck, peck, peck. When I was early for work once, I was actually early, and someone will tell you that I was. I was outside the door here at church and I heard a woodpecker, and it was amazing because there's a lot of interesting facts about the woodpecker. Do you know that a woodpecker, when it is pecking against the wood, is experiencing forces that are crazy? That, you know, the fact that they can cope with it. If we were to be doing the same, if you were to kind of strap a beak on your head and peck at some wood in the way that a woodpecker would, you'd have a headache, to say the least. So here's some information. So when the woodpecker is pecking the wood, their head, it doesn't sound much, is moving at 6 meters per second, and that is really, really quick. Okay, and when they actually impact the wood, the forces that it's like hitting its head with, it's crazy. It's 1,000 times gravity that they experience, and they're so small. Their bodies are designed perfectly to cope with these forces. It's kind of like us if we were traveling really fast. We'd have to be traveling at 26,000 miles per hour and stop dead. Well, you'd have a headache if you did that. So that's the same equivalent to what the woodpeckers do. And I want you to think, someone's actually to look at this and to find out what the woodpecker's dealing with it. Is the scientists have looked at it and they said, oh wow, that's fascinating, that's interesting, let's look at this woodpecker closely, let's give it attention, let's look at the detail of it. Have you ever thought, I wish someone would pay interest in me, I wish someone would look at me, I wish someone would care for me? Well, let me tell you that God cares for you. God is deeply, deeply interested and passionate about you. As we've already heard, Psalm 139, it says this. It says, God, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit down and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down, and you are familiar with all my ways. God is interested in you. God is passionate about you. You see, the way that the scientists and everyone who's been interested in woodpeckers have just looked at them and observed and looked at, oh, look at the woodpecker, it's amazing, it's so cool. God is the same with you. He's so interested with you and he cares for you deeply. And just like, this scientists have done this in other ways, on planes, if you've ever seen a plane, they've got little flecks at the end of their wings that stick up. And that's inspired by eagles. So that when eagles fly and they soar, they have they lift their wings up at the end, and that just gives them efficiency. And the scientists have looked at that and said, let's apply that to the planes. And just like kingfishers as well, they have these kind of filters that go over their eyes, and they've applied that to some camera lenses. So it's fantastic the way that we look at nature, and it inspires our technology. But you have to look and observe. And God looks at us and cares for us in all that we do. So I want you, next time you're out and about or walking through a forest or somewhere and looking at the animals around. We looked at the worms earlier today and how they were fantastic for helping other plants grow through the tea that was created from your wormeries. I want you to pay close attention and remember that God is deeply interested and passionate about you. So will you give God the attention that he gives you? God is deeply interested. He cares for you so much. Will you give your life to him? Will you let him journey on this fantastic life with you? Thanks for listening, guys. Take care.
Wow, what a fantastic day we've had. Anyway, it's time for us to say our prayer now. So if you just still yourself and we'll say our teaspoon prayer. That's T for thank you, S for sorry, P for please. Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for today. We're sorry when we don't listen to people, that we don't listen to you, and we don't listen to the people that you have sent us to guide us. Please, Lord, help us to listen so that we may serve you and our friends and family in a good way. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen. Well, that's really good. And I hope to see you one more time tomorrow. Yes. Bye for now.